Hey folks, welcome to the Market Internal Review for July 19th, 2023. So today was quite the challenging day with the small gap up on SPY of about 81 cents, clearing yesterday's high price. We opened up with a very strong tick. Add and Volt bands were green, signaling that price and volume was bullish. That being said, we really didn't see it. The chop was insane in the morning session. Once we cleared this big bull candle, we had a 63-cent range until almost 11 o'clock with this knife here. So, which was immediately bought back up and reverted as if trend was in a balance. This was just really insane. This was one of the toughest days I've had with the internals in a long time. Couldn't even tell you the last time that it's been this difficult to get a solid read and find a good trade set up to hold, like we've been seeing in the past couple days, last weeks. So the saving grace here is that we get these TiWAP levels, and you can see on the second deviation high and low for what is the session. So from last session's TiWAP, those were really excellent levels on the day. So lots of resistance to clear any higher and lots of support to go any lower. Now, the thing that made it challenging, in my opinion, was just the fact that the ad trends were flipping like crazy, and we had a lot of different tick movements to either end, and the trend showing an imbalance. It just, the whole thing was full of a lot of fake outs today. So really challenging. It's been much simpler to take the standard deviation breaks on TiWAP and hit those targets either to the upside or the downside. These target levels here. So that unfortunately did not work out as well today. There were some wins and some losses. For me, at least personally, I was covering the day on Twitter, and was kind of hopeful once we hit this level here. I was already in short and had taken some profits at the low a day and previous high a day, and I took some more off here. So it was a small success, but yeah, just overall really poor delivery. And we'll go into a little bit more about why I think that is, but overall, the thing I'll say about today is tick divergences really seem to pay off. I've been seeing those a lot more. We had another one today. I was noticing, so we get these bright bear ticks here, and then we see down here we make another one, but it's less severe than this one. And then on the price of SPY itself, it's diverged. It's made a lower low, while tick has made a higher low. So just calling that out again as something to consider for your intraday observations if you're using MIT, or if you're just using the tick chart. You can probably see these okay on raw tick chart, but I definitely like the way MIT draws the candles for me as a histogram, and I find them a lot easier to see. So yeah, you can see, the trend showing an imbalance. Sadly, I just think that was I don't know. I guess it's going to be incorrect as far as SPY is concerned. There wasn't really any alignment. So I think maybe the best way to position today would have been to stick with the add and Volt bands showing that price and volume are bullish, and trying to grab the low tick extremes on the bear side when we're hitting key levels, right? So either this lower level here or these lows here. If you did that and you bought those tick extremes, I think you would have done all right. So this one here, that one did a complete mean reversion. I did actually grab this and I shorted this one, and I'll tell you a little bit why that is, but it was challenging today for sure. And this one, if you would have longed this tick extreme, that actually ended up being a fail, right? Because we made a lower low. This one here would have worked out fine, so versus this one would not have. So it's just a really tough day. And when I saw the balance kick in after all this mess, I was basically done. I took a couple of really small trades, just trying to put some skin in the game and try to regain some of the TiWAP based entry losses. And it was minimally successful. But to go into the reasons why I think we had such a day like this, where trend is showing a imbalance, and SPY is not really following through. You can see these tick levels. This one is just insanely thick, so we're just struggling. And we get this TiWAP cross of this tick level, and I haven't seen this in a while, but actually the tick, or the TiWAP rather, it actually compressed a handful of times today, 3 different times. I don't know that I've seen that before, but just things were really constricted and concentrating right around this price. And if we look at the open price to the close price, SPY basically finished on regular trading hours, 8 cents. So it's almost no progress whatsoever. But flip to Qs. So Qs had a much different day. This was the reason I went short on SPY when I did, is because Qs was already at highs. We had seen this wick action up here. We had a strong tick level that was providing resistance for any higher, and I saw the bearish flip on the volume and price of the New York Stock Exchange. We had a little tick extreme on the bullish side, so it was all just I'm not going to say a guess, because I've seen it so many times this morning, but there was a high probability that we would revert at least in the mean, but potentially lower. So this ended up being a great short opportunity. Still poorly delivered with all this chop, but yeah, and then we reclaimed TiWAP at the end of the day and stifled out right here at this tick level. So as far as like reasons why I think SPY was doing what it was doing, is mainly because we have a insanely overvalued tech sector, given just some of the insanity that has been the Nvidia pump. And I think we have some ERs today, some earnings. We've got Tesla and Netflix today. So the other one I wanted to show you was the Dow. So Dow started off the morning just ripping after a gap up and gave it all back. So it was kind of a bizarre time as well. And the Russ also was doing something similar, where we had a 3-candle rip, gave it all back, and effectively oscillated. So all these indices, 7 cents on Russ. Where did the Dow end up? Dow 32 cents, and Qs $1.42. So Qs are actually weaker than the rest of them, but none of them are really strong. I mean, it looks really top heavy, and I've shown you in my past videos that I think, higher time frame picture, we're looking a little bearish. I think, where we could see some downside. I think it's baked into the probabilities of the market, but I just continue to position off of intraday data with the internals for my trades. I I really refuse to allow my bias to dictate my trades. For good reason, because my bias is not a really good indicator for what the market's going to do. But yeah, we really struggled on the weekly TiWAP here to stay above that first deviation. And, earlier in the week, we had a couple breaks above the second deviation, and we have failed to break back out of that range. We had that 457 level potentially on target, but nope, it's not been happening. Now I'm still encouraged by the fact, as far as for more upside, that the weekly TiWAP is still on an uptrend. So that's very good. Eventually they could come to a head, maybe tomorrow, and maybe we'll bounce. But we've got some key levels that need to be considered for more upside. I think 454 is going to be quite critical. We've got 453, which pretty much coincides with TiWAP. But if we go even further out to the monthly, you can see the monthly also, we've been above second deviation high, and now we have lost it. So we could not stay above that. And the Qs, I want to say, is even worse. Okay, no, I take that back. So Qs has been stronger as far as holding the second deviation, third deviation, and we gave that back, and that rejection point we had was right at the second deviation high. So, the pattern has been dip into the second, rip back into the third, dip into the second, rip into the third. Then we got to dip back into the second. We've got this area, 385, that I think we need to start showing some strength. 384-ish. Definitely don't want to see us start heading back down and to this large area. We've got a gap here. So 387, is a good target to indicate that there's going to be more bullishness based on the monthly TiWAP. Let's look here at the tick chart. So tick chart, mostly on average, the closures are over zero. But you can see we've had a handful of bearish tick events on the day, and that's certainly created some confusion, I think, as far as the overall market direction goes, right? So that's a balance, and that basically started, let's see, I think about 10:30. Yeah, so 10:30 we started to see that decline really taking hold on the market. We didn't quite break that negative 500 until about 11 o'clock. Then we really started, but then it yeets right back up, and we just zigzag most of the day. So trend, I'm really not sure what the deal was with trend. It reads the add and the vold with some of the math formula that I shared on my intro video for using market internals to day trade. So we started in that bullish area, potentially overbought, ripped up to the 20 SMA and rejected hard, right back in that zone. And we spent most of our time in that zone until noon. Now we did flip over the 20 SMA at 11 and headed right into balance. By 1 o'clock, we start to stagnate. So that whole time range from about 11 to 1 o'clock, if we go look at the SPY, what does it look like from 11 to 1 o'clock? So here's 11. And 1 o'clock. So 11, we're at the bullish zone and we're going towards balance. And then by 1 o'clock, we're rejecting balance. So overall, I'm not sure that it agrees. We've got this SPY dump here from 12 to 12:30. And from 12 to 12:30, yeah, I guess we're leaving the bullish zone headed towards bearish up here, and we just didn't make it. So I guess the alignment's mostly decent there, but very poor delivery. So looking at the ad, we saw that trend over the ad ribbon or the ad band on MIT flipping nonstop. And in my past videos, I've said it's pretty much guaranteed that ads in a channel or in a range, and that's effectively what we have. So no hardcore direction, slightly above the balance, zero range, but 900 stocks, 400 or 500 stocks range of advancement. So I think overall we just had some selling off and some buying depending on sectors. I haven't checked all the sectors, but very, very much a mixed bag day. Now, I think I already scrolled by the VOLT chart, so maybe some of you caught that, but the VOLT chart. I was watching this today, and it's just very, very interesting. So we've got an uptrend. We spent the majority of the time in the bullish zone for volume. So more bullish volume than bullish price. Definitely a divergence, and I think that lends to why trend was reading as it was. What does it actually mean? Personally, when we've seen this in the past, the high vol and price not in agreement, that has meant more upside. Not every time, but I think with a high degree of probability that has been the case. Now, would it manifest in SPY or Qs or the Russell or Dow or all of them? I'm not sure. I think some of it will greatly depend on the earnings reports. I want to say there's some banking earnings as well. All of that's going to play into it. This VOLT action could have been a lot of volume pouring into earnings stocks. I really don't know that, but that would be, I think, a plausible guess. Maybe I'll do some research on that to see where the largest concentration of volume was today. But overall, as far as market internals goes, today was very tough. There, at least per trend, there was not a lot of indication of bing bong style trades as far as buy the lows, sell the highs. Not until about midday, and then it was really poor delivery. Like buying low here, you would have had to hold this for quite some time. So tough day. I'm excited for the rest of this week and the future days. I know that once we get past whatever this consolidation phase is, that we'll get right back to the TiWAP standard deviation break strategies, and I'll continue to profit from that. And so I'm just remaining vigilant and stubborn on what kind of market I trade in. And I think if I'm being honest with myself, I probably overtraded a little bit today on the indexes, but still overall small green on the day. But yeah, so I think overall, probably just a consolidation day and maybe some sector rotation, but it's early to see if anything's going to really manifest. We'll wait for earnings to settle down and see what comes out next. Chips has definitely been selling off a little bit. I've checked some of the individual names. I watched SMH today, and it was looking a little weak. And I guess one other thing to note, we had some really weird events the last handful of days. We had a news drop on Microsoft and Nvidia, and then today we had Apple released some news about their OpenAI competitive technology, which sent this into just an insane high within seconds. We were at 193, and at the peak we hit almost 198.5, something around there. So that's creating some oddness as well, and I'm not sure if that kind of news manipulation is going to continue or not, but I think that created a lot of weird movement in the indexes as well today. So be on the lookout for that. If you don't follow news, I would highly recommend you do so, just so you don't get steamrolled by by something like this. So, anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Like I said, today was tough. If you were using the internals and you weren't successful today, I wouldn't beat yourself up over it. There's always going to be better days, guaranteed. So thank you for watching, and as always, happy trading.